Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I got exactly 45 minutes to talk. I got 2 videos uploading on one phone. I got a big video uploading on the phone that takes forever for things to upload. And while it has only 10% left to upload, because I don't have Wi-Fi out here, I'm not gonna see it upload till I get back home. So what that means is I only got 37 minutes to talk on there. So these are gonna be some short videos, or I'm just not gonna do as many videos in my quest to grocery shop and do all the Hollywood stuff. As much groceries as I have to purchase, it really does make sense for me to do the local thing. But as much as I have appreciated building strength going up hills and stuff like that, I kind of don't want to miss an opportunity to do that. So it's kind of like I'm just gonna go and do the long thing anyway, and use this heavy backpack that I'm about to be carrying as yet another opportunity to build strength rather than taking the easy route and all of that. So it's like I relish an opportunity these days to fill my backpack up with big grocery shopping and then mobbing up those hills. It's something that I challenge myself to do now, and it's like I don't want to risk a big grocery day without doing that. You know, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, just gonna go to Hollywood. Plus it's Saturday, it's nice out here. I ain't got nothing pulling me back to the house, so I don't particularly feel like being in the unit. Just paid off the room, thankful to my uncle as always for making sure that I have what I need for that. But I don't particularly feel like being in that unit. So that's another reason why I've taken a big trip to LA. Fits more of what I want to do, but space on these phones to do the content that I want to do is not there, so just gotta live with that. But yeah, man, what's going on? What's the word? I had a weird dream last night that I wasn't a fan of. Didn't feel good to be in that dream at all. I dreamed that first of all, I was hanging out with my buddy from out of town. He's one of my good friends, Keontae. I grew up with, one of my brothers in this life. Shout out to Q. But he was in the dream, and we were riding around, and he decided that he was gonna go to where a community hides out at, or a gang hides out at. In some type of parking lot. And while I'm riding around the car not knowing what's going on, where we're headed, I'm just riding with him like we always used to. He decides to go over there and drive through where they at. I guess throw up some rival gang signs and then speed up out of there laughing on some troll stuff. And my thinking was, bro, this is not a smart idea at all. Because you're not armed. You're not from no rival gang. You're just going over there because you want to laugh at this and you want some exhilaration. You trying to get a rise off this. Now, this Keontae is like a joker, but he ain't this type of person. That's not his character at all. He ain't stupid. He ain't never put me in no type of danger. He ain't, you know what I mean? That's not what his character has ever been, let alone now when we're in our 40s and he's got grown kids pretty much. So I don't know why he was in this dream, but nevertheless, that's what he was doing. He was taking us on a ride to a gang hideout so he could troll them. Unarmed, throwing up stuff that's going to offend them. And naturally, they start shooting at the car as soon as he does that. And he's speeding off laughing. I'm ducking, hoping they ain't shooting at the door. You know, because I'm putting my head down. But I'm thinking if they hit this door, a bullet going through my head. But if I keep my head up, they can aim at me. So it's like, and he's just speeding off, laughing, not caring about nothing. And I'm hot. I'm angry at him. I'm like, bro, why are you doing this? Why did, you know, my reaction is natural to that. Like, very upset, cussing and all of that. And I don't know what else came with that exchange. But I guess he said, after that, he said something to me that I felt was disrespectful or something. And I told him to just let me out the car, man. You ain't gotta take me back to the crib. Just let me out here. I'm good. That's what I told him. But I guess he dropped me off where I lived. And whatever our spat was ended up bleeding into where I lived. But where I lived wasn't here or anywhere I've ever lived. I was actually living with some people that I didn't know. A bunch. It was looked like a housing unit, or somebody had allowed me to stay with their housing unit or something like that. A bunch of people that I didn't know, and they were all standing around watching TV, and it was quiet in the room. You know how you read the room? It's like I'm bringing static into a peaceful space. That's what it was. And me and him ended up getting into it. I ended up hitting him. So I would never lay a hand on my friend Keontae. I don't remember ever doing that ever in life. I don't think we've ever fought about anything. But in this dream, he said something to me when we were walking into the house, and I popped him in his face with my fist. I was like, man, you ain't gonna talk to me all kinds of disrespect. Square up. Like, fighting with my friend with something that never happened, never would happen. I've known him since I was 5 years old. We ain't never gotten a fight. And so it was just a lot of uncharacteristic behavior. Even if he did say something disrespectful to me, we got so much history. I would never look to raise a hand to my friend in his life. I would not do that at all. I don't think he could do anything to make me want to hit him. Like, so that was what's so weird about this dream. I just didn't like none of that energy at all. And in the place where I was living, it looked like, if I'm being honest, it looked like a unit full of Mexican LGBTQ people, but older people. And I was like, where am I at, yo? And I came in trying to be extra careful. I had already swung at my friend in front of them. He ended up leaving after that. And then they were like, oh yeah, sit down and watch TV with us, like nothing had happened. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go to my room. I'm good. I've had a hell of a day. But it was like 8 or 9 people in there. None of them looked straight at all, and all of them were over the age of 50. Mexican dudes. Very strange dream, man. Very strange dream. And so my thing was, it brought me to a space where I realized, like, yo, you know, when I woke up out of that dream, I was like, all of this is bad. And it reminded me of my living situation, how sensitive it is, you know. No telling where I'm gonna have the ability to lay my head if things go wrong from here. So it kind of put me in a space where I had to really look at myself and say, man, I don't know what that dream was trying to tell me, but I was definitely waking up out of that dream praying for everybody in it. And it was another aspect of that dream that had my homegirl Delicia in it as well. Before all of that took place, before we ended up going on that stupid mission, we were somewhere where she was at, hanging out. I don't know what was going on with that part of my dream, but so I pray for everybody in the dream, pray for myself, and just ask the Lord, you know, keep me in a space where I'm ready to react or acquiesce to, not acquiesce, but adapt is the word, to whatever would be ahead. Because that was a very unhappy situation. I was coming home to a situation that seemed peaceful, but I was definitely not comfortable there. I was in a situation where I was hanging out with somebody who was putting me in dangerous situations for no real reason at all. Having us getting shot at and all types of stuff. It was like, yo, man, this dream ain't it, man. I don't know what's going on with this dream, but it didn't feel like nothing positive was really being done there. Nothing constructive was being done there. And so it just brought me to a space where I was thinking, man, I gotta be more serious about getting closer to God, and more serious about asking him to help me react to whatever it is that's ahead of me, or whatever the heck is going on in my life in a given moment. So that's what came to mind, man. Just looking at that situation, not being very pleased with that. But you know, what else going on? After waking up out of that dream, did my normal routine. Felt pretty good about it. Ate some breakfast, made some basketball videos, as you guys can see are being uploaded. They'll be uploaded probably very soon on this phone, for which I don't need Wi-Fi to upload, so it's gonna take a couple hours, but they'll be up. And yeah, man, that's kind of how my morning has gone, man. Ain't really paying much attention to too many other different things other than following up the basketball video I made on the Blazers last night with more accurate information. So yeah, that's kind of how it went, man. That dream kind of set the tone for me, man. And as it did, you know, I just found myself looking at different things online, and you know, paying attention to what's going on with the flotilla a little bit, as we talked about that mission that they're trying to go on. We've been talking a little off and on about that conversation, about their mission to get food to Gaza and Greta Thunberg and several others. From what I understand, Israel was issuing a ship to go out there and intercept their ship, possibly arrest them. I saw some propaganda that they got this young child representing Israel that they're propping up, that they're trying to work on their PR. So they put this kid up here, and he's sitting up there on a ship himself with a bunch of other kids talking about, yeah, we're on our way to meet up with Greta Thunberg. We want to ask her a few questions. You stand for humanity. How did you start standing for terrorism and all different types of propaganda? Hamas, you want to talk about genocide, but what about Hamas? It's like, don't they understand that in and of itself is a bankrupt statement? It doesn't connect or hit like they think it does. Like, you're telling us to not be concerned with other people's genocide and who you're doing what to, but to reinforce our concern toward you and how unfair we are, and how backwards morally we are for not considering you as you're considering you, but no one else. We're not considering ourselves. We're considering someone else. You're holding us accountable for not considering you as you're considering you while doing harm to someone else. And you think that we're going to be ashamed of ourselves for not considering your humanity while you discarded the people of whom we're concerned about. That is bankrupt in and of itself. It doesn't hit like they think it does, because they, by natural default, believe that not only are they better than everybody else, but everybody's supposed to agree to that. And nobody else agrees with that. And that's the part that they're waking up to. It's like, yo, y'all don't realize that we're supposed to like acquiesce to the Jews? No, you crazy morons. We don't subscribe to that shit. You do. You propped yourself up to believe that you were chosen by God to take over the damn world. And nobody else is going along with that shit, if not for the presence of capitalism. So when they try to connect with us and try to make us reason with their delusions, they end up being out of touch even in their spaces of trying to justify their nonsense. Like, the reality of what it is they're doing discards of humanity entirely. But they're so enriched in that lack of humanity that even when they try to sound human, they still sound like monsters. And so that just speaks to the delusion and the psychopathic behavior that these people ultimately embody in everyday operations, and how they're going about every damn thing they're doing, everything they're doing. They are a religious cult. That is what that is. A very demented, sick, and twisted-minded, crazy, demented cult that has been exalting itself in the shadows for ages, surmising that the world agreed with them until they realized, when it was time for them to go about their evil, devilish intention, that the world actually didn't understand them at all. That's what they're awakening to. They can't connect with us at all. They don't even understand us. So that is what I see there. They put that, a lot of propaganda with that young fellow up there. He's no older than 11 years old, 12 years old at the most. But you could tell they've been raising him since he was 3 years old to align with Israel and all of their evil ways, just like they do to every other child up there, pretty much. It's amazing to see anybody in the space with that culture and that deep indoctrination and self-exhaustion and superiority will find a way to have any humanity at all. It's amazing to see an Israeli with any humanity. How did your brain choose out of that? That's my question. You're an extraordinary individual if you didn't adapt to that while being in that environment. And so that's what I'm coming to understand. Some of the most extraordinary individuals in the world are Israelis who didn't align with Zionism, because that is the most difficult propaganda to think your way through, the most difficult, what's the word, mindset, mind control of darkness and spiritual wickedness over any people's heads that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, that's the most deep indoctrined warpness that there is in this world. It really is. Maybe of all time, to be honest with you. So if you found yourself going against that crap, being from that crap, you're one of the most extraordinary people in the world. And they're out there. They are out there. And hopefully God protects those people. But at any rate, yeah, man, they start them young, man. They get them started on this, we're better than everybody else, and everybody else should agree with that. And anybody that doesn't agree with that, it's just a little weird energy. They've been putting that in their children from jump, man. They start that off. They start them as early as 1 year old, reading them bedtime stories to tell them they can take over lands and stuff like that. And it's okay to wipe out your enemies and stuff like that. They teach these kids how to be psychopaths before they're able to wipe their ass, pretty much. So that's what I see there. And using children to soften the blow on our positions on them killing children. They're using children to justify killing children, which speaks to the evil that they are. Anytime you think about the most deviant and dark things that the world can do, you ain't got to look too far. Just look at them. They'll show you exactly what the worst of the worst you can think of is. You can't even make up some of the evil that they're doing. So you can't even make up some of the wickedness that they're willing to do to people that they don't like. And what makes them don't like those people? Horrible reasons that make you dislike them. In other words, if you're a reasonable human being that wants fairness for everybody, you are one of their enemies and they want to do the worst thing to you. That's basically what this comes down to. And of course, America, by way of our capitalism, because they have so much money, to follow them down the yellow brick road, wherever it takes us. And so we're probably going to fall with them. And the world will be safer for it, unfortunately, for all of my good American people. But that's really what it is, man. Since we're too corrupt as a society to give a damn about one another, we're certainly not going to be aligned and focused like we need to be to stop what's deteriorating us that's following that same energy. I'm looking at what's going on in my city online this morning, and these protests that are taking place around these ICE agents rounding up people in graduations. More white supremacy doing evil stuff to brown people. It ain't nothing new. It's not surprising. It's just supremacy, man. And so that's what you're seeing right now. They go into graduations where predominantly Hispanic people are in this city, where they know all these people are going to be coming together with their off guard, and they're trying to see if they can round up as many undocumented people at these graduations that they can grab. So that's what they've been doing. The ICE agents been going all over the city, just snatching up random Hispanic people and sending them to God knows where, man. I was listening to an excerpt of a hearing yesterday. I don't know where this was. I think it said Sudan. But the U.S. had taken some people and put them in some type of, I don't know what you call those things, but like these, you know, where they keep the ports, these big containers. They had round up like a bunch of people that they were deporting from probably this area in probably African people. I'm not really sure. Sudanese people. I'm not really sure. But they had taken a bunch of people they deported, and they were sitting them on a base in that country, and it's like 100 degrees, unlivable conditions in a container. God knows how many of them round up in a container. I don't even know if they can survive that. That doesn't sound very survivable, to be honest with you, especially considering how hot it probably is. And they were doing a hearing where they were actually confirming that this is something that our country had done. And yes, we have them in a container in the base. And yes, this is something that's been confirmed by our country. I'm like, are you serious? We're really doing that to people? So that's my thing. It's just like, yo, man, I understand that we live in a racist country where just several hundred years ago, people that look like me were slaves, and all that came with that is unfathomable for a lot of people who are alive today. Don't even know how bad that actually was. So it shouldn't be overly surprising to see the descendants of these people treating Mexican people this way, and treating, you know, and discarding of brown people in the Middle East. It's not surprising to see white supremacy, white supreme. You see, because that's just really what they do. But at some point in time, we got to look at the rest of us and say, is this who we're allowing to be safe around us? They really feel comfortable around us, bro, while they're doing this. A lot of us say we're not our ancestors, but we acting like what we say our ancestors were, which were docile individuals who were mind warped by individuals who were willing to do horrible things to us all. We just sit back and just let them do it. You know, are we that docile of a society that we're really just gonna sit back and just let these people just treat people like this? And so that's what I have to say, man. I'm proud of my city for standing up to these ICE agents. I saw footage of one of these situations where the ICE agent actually ran over a person. He didn't fully run him over, but like ran over like his legs as he was trying to stop the car from more or less taking somebody to get deported, taking a bunch of people who had been rounded up, I believe, from a Home Depot on Wilshire. I know exactly which Home Depot that is, close to downtown. I think that's what was reported, that they had taken those people from that area. And I guess this ICE agent ran over somebody. And the footage showed him running over him partially. It's over his legs and it hit his head. I don't know what the dude's doing, if he survived that or not. The head hit was pretty damn substantial. Usually when you see people hit their head on concrete like that, they don't make it, to be honest with you. And the ICE agent just like sped off after that. Completely sped off. Hit and run. And I know a lot of people are talking about doxing these ICE agents. I mean, I don't see why we would shun that when you see the behavior of these people. I understand that they're doing their job, just like overseers were doing their job when they round up slaves. But it's 2025, and I just don't see a reason why these people should feel safe. I really don't. They shouldn't feel safe doing this. They shouldn't be able to hide their families while they're separating people from separating families from one another in the name of their job. No, you should be doxxed. You shouldn't feel safe at all because you're kidnapping people. Some of these people have cancer. They are, you know, sending people who need health care away from that health care into the silent night of whatever country they're from. If they even send them back to the countries they're from, a lot of times they send these people, God knows where they send them, to Africa. It's like at some point in time, we just got to look at these folks and say, I can't wait for the government to hold itself accountable for its own damn crimes. Can't wait. I'm sorry, I can't. As a private citizen, I can't wait for the corrupt to hold itself accountable for corruption. You know, and the greatest example of that we're seeing today is Israel. Well, Israel investigated itself and found that there was no wrongdoing in this situation that they investigated. And Israel says, listening on TV and having people regurgitate to us retorts to the truth about the genocide. Well, we must tell you that Israel has made a statement saying that in fact they did not do this. Like, what the hell do I care what the bad guy say about what he did? But this is what happens when you allow corruption to control your country. You let the bad guy have control of the narrative. So naturally the talking heads that he props up there to tell you the fake news that's up there are going to give you the fake news that ultimately aligns with his intentions. This is the problem. They have far too much power, and a lot of that power is reinforced by our compliance and the credibility we apply to them by continuing to support their bullshit and be in the dark about all the things that they are doing and how it is ultimately our responsibility to hold them accountable. Everybody's waiting for somebody else to hold people accountable. Nah, that's not what you're dealing with. You have to deal with something that you have to hold accountable. You have to hold this accountable. You can't wait. And so that's what I'm doing with my voice. And I'm telling all of you guys, hey man, listen, you want to get up there and be an ICE agent? A lot of these people who are ICE agents, they're deporting people that are from countries that they are actually from. I don't speak to what goes on in other people's communities. I can speak to my own. When I see a black person who throws black people under the bus, it does make me feel very uncomfortable. A lot of these ICE agents are Spanish-speaking people. People who went through the process of getting their paperwork, and now because they went through that process, feel indoctrined in white supremacy America and are willing to throw their own people under the bus, throw their own people into the dark blue night, or whatever the hell ends up happening when an ICE agent takes their people. This is something that is wrong. I don't care how you slice it. I don't give a damn how many people don't agree. This is wrong. You should not be willing to throw people away, whether you look like them or not. But definitely if you look like them, definitely if they're your people, you should not feel safe deporting your own people. You shouldn't feel safe. That's how I feel, man. Y'all letting evil white supremacy lead us down a path where we are angry at our own brothers, and that's exactly what's happening in the Spanish-speaking community. Good portion of these ICE agents are from Spanish-speaking countries. Good portion. Selling their own people down the river. And like I said, that is not, that's beyond my wheelhouse. I let them deal with them. But I can tell you, man, that's not cool. From my perspective, that's beyond awful to do that to your own people, bro. It's beyond awful. And you collecting a check, there's a million ways to collect a check. You're letting the devil collect your soul, and that's gonna cost you a little more than what they paying you. And so it's just what we're seeing right now, man. These are the times. These are the times. You know, this is what the Republicans wanted to do. Democrats had their own way of expressing their white supremacy and their evil. The Republicans have an entirely different way of expressing their white supremacy and their evil. This is just their version of it. They are unapologetically racist. Racist. Unapologetically. And once you let them in office, you're dealing with a lot of poor treatment that makes a lot of people feel really, really uncomfortable. And a lot more of the majority feel a lot safer because, well, they're racist. And a racist only feels comfortable when black people and people of color of many kinds are uncomfortable. That's really what it comes down to. That's the only way they feel comfortable, is if people of color are uncomfortable. And so as a result, you continue to see them put people in these positions. And to a point, it becomes a situation where you have to ask yourself who's going to hold them accountable. If it ain't going to be you, don't expect them to hold themselves accountable. Ain't going to happen. They're very comfortable with what they're doing to other people. Ain't nothing happening to them unless you do it. And so that's what I think you're seeing, is people starting to get to a point where they understand that and they're doing what they got to do. And that's important. You got to, at some point in time, you got to say, if the lawmakers are wedging a war between me and my morality with what they put into law, at some point in time, for me to be able to look myself in the mirror, I can't follow that law. I can't follow that law. You trying to put in the law that I discard of my neighbor? You trying to put in the law that I allow for you to harm children? You trying to put in the, like, I can't follow that law, man. I got to follow God's law. At that point, I got to be cognizant of the understanding that the bad guy's in charge. He gonna have me doing all types of stuff I shouldn't be doing. Trying to follow what the law is. A bad guy can get in office and make anything damn law if he wants to. And what you gonna do? Just follow it? Because we follow the law. I mean, he told you gotta blow somebody's head off every morning. That's your law. And you just gonna roll with that, huh? Because you follow the law. I mean, at some point in time, you gotta draw the line in the sand. So, yo, I can't follow the law. Because the law is written in place to send me to hell and have me dragging other people with me. And many generations didn't do that. They didn't draw a line in the sand as it pertains to what they were willing to do and what they weren't. As it pertains to following whatever the law was, and the bad guy wrote in the law that black people were worth 3/5 of a human being. So as a result, if I lived back then, I wouldn't have the right to have these conversations. If anything, I just got to do whatever I'm told. Or find a safe space to kill myself if I don't want to be under control. If I can find one. And so this is the reality of it, man. I as a black person have a very special interest in seeing people of color treated with respect and dignity, have the right to every right that anyone white has. You know what I mean? And maybe if I were white, I'd have maybe a more different approach to these conversations. Maybe not. But I'm not afforded the ability to just be like, oh, this is fine. I can't really do that because they're gonna turn their attention to me soon enough. Like, that is how that goes. You ask me, as a black person, we're always the grand prize. Whatever they're doing to everybody else, they want to do a lot worse to us. That's what we've learned over the course of history and time. No matter how much they hate everybody else, it's always us that they really, really fear. Not only can't stand, but they're terrified of us in one way or another, and obsessed with us in one way or another. They want us to entertain them, and they want us to stay away from them, and they want us to serve them all at the same time. Like, they're impossible and confused, just like the devil they serve. And this is what we've learned over the course of 1,000 years at this point. And so, what do you want me to do as a black person? Act like that's not kosher and koof to say? Like I'm out of control for saying that because I know a couple of good white people? I do. I know more than a couple. But that don't take away from the fact that white supremacy has been torturing people of color since the beginning of time. They're torturing people. And this is just another leg of that same old energy. If a person has melanin in their skin, you can best believe it's going to be a white entity looking to do horrible things to it and then paint it out to be the worst, scariest, most monstrous thing in the world. It's just what y'all do, man. It's just what you do. And so I'm not going to be able to be sorry. Just like you're not going to be sorry for doing any of that. It is what it is, man. We're going to normalize talk about all of this as it is. The genocide in the Middle East, white supremacy. Same old stuff. What's going on here with ICE? White supremacy. Same old stuff. It boils down to skin color and melanin, man. That's it. That's what it always boils down to. Y'all can say it's about this, you can say it's about that, you can say it's about this and that and the third. But at the end of the day, the main constant is white people treating people of color like dirt. It's just the constant, man. And at some point in time, I don't know which generation it's going to be, but at some point in time, the people of color need to stop allowing it. Not that we allow it in every situation, but the overall majority of us tend to be separated in such a way that we can never come together to be there for one another, to actually give ourselves a chance. And we can say that it's the white people's fault that that's the case, but at this point, don't we now realize that? At some point in time, you got to step out of your mental conditioning to come together instead of tribalizing all damn day when you have a real enemy fighting your brothers just like the enemy wants you to do. At some point in time, you got to say, yo, we have a common enemy. And as long as we're divided, we're going to always be conquered by that common enemy, and they're always going to be doing weird, strange, demented, torturous stuff to us. It just is what it is. How much data do you need? Is what I would ask all of the people of color. How much data do you actually need? Y'all want to go through another 1,000 years of this different type of stuff before you realize this is what needs to happen? Or what? I'm trying to figure it out. Because they're not going to stop, bro. They're not going to stop. That's what's become extremely clear to me. They're not going to stop. You're not going to shame them into stop doing this. This is just what they do. This is who they are. It's not deeper than that. Ain't never been deeper than that. And there's always plenty of them who are going to prove me wrong, but it's going to be plenty more who are going to prove me right. It is what it is. And I, for one, personally am sick of seeing people of color be footstools to these other people. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing us be footstools in so many different phases and fashions just because of whatever, however it goes. Whatever drives it, however it goes. People of color got to continue to be footstools of people who don't have any pigment. This is getting to a point where we just got to say, look, man, I don't care what color you are. as it pertains to people of color. You need to start coming together. Black, brown, Native American, Muslim, Arabic. If you're a person of color, you need to start standing on the same side. That's the only way you're going to stop being a footstool to those from Europe. Okay? Literally. It's the only way you're going to stop being a footstool to these people is if you stop trying to separate yourselves by way of your cultures and your tribalism. Gangs and all different types of stuff that we always separate ourselves. Y'all need to be united as one. And if you can't do that, they're going to keep kicking y'all ass till you figure out how to. That's really what I know. Black people versus Mexican people. You don't have enough people if you're doing that. Y'all come together, you got enough people. Arabic people, black people, Spanish-speaking people, Native American people, indigenous people from Australia, indigenous people from Canada. It gotta be all of us coming together. All of them. That's the conundrum, bro. Until y'all figure that shit out, they gonna keep kicking y'all ass. They gonna keep exploiting you, doing all types of weird mental stuff to you, having y'all loving your own poison, all different types of versions of it. You know, genociding them over there, continuing to steal y'all lands. If you find new lands, they're gonna steal those. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're gonna do. As soon as you find yourself somewhere to settle where it looks like you're having some peace, they're gonna come. And they're gonna give you some peace, some democracy and freedom. What I've come to understand, and what you're gonna come to understand as well, is it's not the land they want. I don't think they really get this yet, but I've come to this understanding over the last 24 hours. It ain't the land they want. It's to take from you the land you had. You can find any damn land. They're coming. Suddenly, you can say you want to live in Antarctica, an inhabitable space. If you find a way to be there, if it ain't nothing but people of color, they coming. Because they want to take from you what you have. It ain't about them wanting the best land. Hell no. It's deeper than that. They want what you got. They want to be able to stand on your back. I need white supremacy to understand that this is exactly what's going on in my head. Not because I'm crazy, but because you've shown me this. You have shown me this all of my life. You've shown my people this for as long as the thing been spinning, bro. You've shown every single one of us this exact same thing. I'm just in a space where I don't care to say anything other than that. I'm not confused about my character. I'm not confused about the good white people in my life and the ones that I've known, or even people who have been in my family that are Caucasian. They ain't separating the situation, because it's a mindset. And it's a macro conversation. It's not about an individual. Individuals can be nice. Individuals can be cool. Individuals come together and suddenly act like fools. I can teach a person. How can I persuade a people? Because that's what the idea is. It's not to point out each and every good person and then from there just say, well, you know, that's why we don't have to do anything about the bad, because there's so many good. I don't think that really helps us too much when we really consider it. I don't think that really helps the conversation in trying to do math that way. If you're a good person, then stand over there and be a good person. But don't act like I don't have a right to look at what y'all people are doing and say that it's the worst thing going forward, just like it's been the worst thing as we look back on it. And if you are a good person, then you ain't gonna have no problem with what I'm saying. Nor are you gonna be insecure to think that I'm talking about you, because I'm telling you, I ain't. I'm really not. As I told y'all many times, anytime I want to say that all of anybody is anything, I think about the people who are on my side that don't agree with me, that will line up with those who hate me and try to kill me. And I think about people like John Brown, who lived and died to see me free. I don't let the people leave my mind when I have these conversations. Right? John Brown is always on my mind. He's a great white person. Lived and died. He proved himself. I don't have to act stupid, though. For every John Brown, there was like a Hitler or something like that. Like, I mean, it just is what it is. It's like 3 Hitlers more likely, if you want to do the math the right way. And when anybody that doesn't like this, you need to be raising good kids. Non-racist, balanced-minded, and fair individuals. That's the best way for whites to go forward. If you don't want this to be true, you got to be good in yourself, and you got to raise your kids to be good. Otherwise, you just reinforcing more white supremacy, fam. More callous, indifferent, poor representations of yourselves. Man, it is not my responsibility to ignore what you're doing to me so that those who are not a part of that can feel comfortable about being in their skin. Not my problem. Not my problem. I got bigger fish to fry, fam. I can't sit up here and worry about the good ones. If you good, then stand with me. And let's figure this shit out. And so that's pretty much what I got to say, man. I'm praying for a better way. I am not a racist. I'm not a person who's bigoted. I don't dislike people. I don't dislike a person. I just look at what the data showed me, and that's what it is. That's what's there. What you want me to do? You know what I mean? I'm just a human being identifying what I see. You know what I'm saying? And look, if you want to go into the past and say we're not doing that anymore, then you are looking away from a whole lot of what's going on right now. There was a good time. There was a time in my life where a lot of people truly believe that we had overcome all of that. We're not like that anymore. We don't do that type of stuff. Our ancestors were like, we don't like that anymore. But now I look around and like, yo, what's going on over there? What do you see there? What's going on over there? You see that? We're not doing that anymore? You sure? All right. I mean, if we want to lie and look away from stuff that's happening so that we can justify just letting it go and letting people just, you know, be however they want to be, even if it hurts other people, and you can do that. But don't think that that's going to be accurate, is what I'm saying to you. Don't allow yourself to believe that that's what's actually happening out here. It's just not, man. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. I am not sorry. I understand there are going to be some people who are offended. If you're offended, that is something that is unfortunate. You know what I mean? I don't particularly find myself pleased with making solid people feel uncomfortable about being in their own skin or anything like that, man. But at the end of the day, bro, we got to stop lying about what's actually happening to people of color. We gotta stop sugarcoating it, because what we're doing is co-signing it when we sugarcoat it, man. And the bottom line is, y'all starting up again with a whole lot of stuff they have no business doing, man. And that's really what it is. How y'all operating against these particular people, that is wrong, man. How y'all operating over there in the Middle East with those particular people, and then trying to justify it and use all types of power to make it seem like it's okay, and use religion and all that to make it seem like we're supposed to go along with it. That is horrible. That's not right. And so that's what I want to say, man. I just want people who don't align with that to raise their kids right, man. Raise your kids right, so that you can bring forth a reputation to your people that brings about more numbers of good. That is what you really, really are going to be best for having, man. Because at this point, where we're headed, y'all just making more and more enemies, man, and less business partners. And I don't know what that means for your numbers and your bottom line, but I'm telling you, man, you are letting these folks who are doing this mess it up for the rest of y'all one way or another, man. Bdf 44, I thank y'all for watching.